What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Instagram Collectors Roundtable, episode 14. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everybody's had a good weekend. I brought three of my buddies with me. I've got Alex here, who is still excited about Upper Deck doing wrestling cards. So I'm sure you've been looking at that. Or Alex, what's the wrestling landscape looking like right now? Any new sets or anything?
I will say, so Upper Deck is a little bit behind still on their sets. So they only released one so far. They've had the license for I think just about like 12, 14 months, and they've only released one set.
Gotta get with
So
it.
yeah, they have a couple. They literally have three sets that are supposed to come out in the next couple months, but I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not sure like the timeline, but yeah, they have like their series 2, if you will.
Right.
They have Spectrum, which is supposed to be like an SP game used,
That'll be fun.
and then they have the Skybox Metal Universe. So that'll be a big one, obviously.
Sure, especially because they don't have to use like pictures of Ken Griffey Jr. in a
Yeah.
sweatsuit, just like hitting off the tee in his son's baseball game. But
Yeah.
that'll be cool. And we got Tim here. Tim, nice to have you back. It's been a hot minute since we've had you. I know you've had a lot going on, but yeah, what's new, dude?
Well, I'm glad to be back. Nothing's really new much, but just got a couple pickups and just keep it going.
Good. Yeah, and you haven't expanded your PC to 500 players. It's still at 400 now. So that's
No,
good to know.
401.
Okay, 401. That's nice. And then, of course, we got Kelvin. He just made it back. He hurried home just to make it for this show. So we got to give Kelvin some props for that.
Thank you.
And he sent off Tim and I's packages that he's been holding on to. At least we think our cards are coming to us.
Allegedly, yeah.
Most likely will be base cards of Marty Brodeur in a Blues uniform. So can't wait to get those.
Right.
And so I am almost over my cold. I still have, phlegm all in my throat, as Ahmed would say. But yeah, everybody knows where that reference is from. But yeah, other than that, just excited to chat with you guys, especially because we're going to be covering all things Instagram. That's where we met. That's what have helped us tremendously with our collections. I mean, we got an Instagram regular in here who came to check it out. He definitely has helped me with my collection and many others. But yeah, really excited to talk to you guys about, your Instagram experiences specifically and, some of the ins and outs of that over the last few years. Just to cover real quick, start with you, Alex. How long have you been on Instagram posting cards and interacting with people?
So I used to post cards like here and there, like when I would get mail and like just for fun on my personal account. But that's going back like 10, 15 years. But
okay,
for my hobby one, like this Josaki 19X one, I think probably about 2 years.
Okay.
Honestly, it was around COVID.
Same.
So that's when I started, because I was on all the forums and stuff, and I was like, I'm kind of tired of making people suffer. The people who don't collect, the people just people from work. I didn't want them to suffer looking through all my card stuff, so I'm like, I'll just make one for my my hobby related items.
Right. I think we all kind of got on then around the same time. I remember it was right during COVID. I was like, all right, time to start collecting hockey, and I was like, hey, I should do an account. Look at all these great hockey collectors posting base cards, and just not everybody posting the Jordan patch autos. It was much different than the baseball landscape even. So, Carrie, I'll just throw it out to whoever. I don't think I have this on my list, so I'm going to spring this on you guys. Like, what, beyond COVID, and we're all sitting around at home, like, doing nothing, right? Just chilling. Like, what really motivated you to do it? You know what I mean? Like, did you see an account, or did you hear about it? Like, what was it that made you go, you know what, like, this is where I need to be spending more time?
Well, for me, it was just a natural evolution of, like, all the platforms that I've been a part of since I was a teenager, going back to all the forums, just like Alex was saying. Of course, we have Jeremy here, his Hobby Insider, frequented that a lot. Then the next step after that was Facebook, a lot of Facebook groups. And then I forgot, I think it was Alex that made me like maintain my Instagram activity, but I'm not sure what prompted me to actually create the account itself. But I'm just sure like it was just another avenue to sort of explore. But Alex was really the person that really made me, be on top of it every day. And then of course COVID happened, and it was like, what's the excuse? We're just gonna start posting cards to see what happens, what we could find, and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where all of us kind of motivate each other to keep posting. I know that when I started discovering hockey card nostalgia, indigenous rookie cards, who were some of the Al, of course, and his Jerome collection. Those are some of the first. Batnob Cursive, who hasn't posted in a while. I sure hope he's all right. Hope he's all right.
Take some breaks every once in a while, I think.
Yeah, this is the longest I've seen, but just people being creative and having something in their descriptions. Because when I was on Instagram, my personal account, it was just like post a picture and use hashtags. Wasn't really much of a need to put descriptions. People just wanted to look at it, look at the pictures. But yeah, that's definitely motivated me to keep it going. So let's start off with the question, kind of a generic overall question. And again, all these questions for people who are watching live, feel free to throw your answers in the chat. We'd be happy to show them. So what does Instagram and that collecting community mean to you guys from a collector's standpoint? Every time you get on there, think about it, you look at it, like what does it mean to you personally?
To me, I feel like it's like the easiest way, I would say, to like kind of show off your collection and be interact with people. Because like Tim and I just mentioned with the forums, if you want to talk to someone on a forum, you could reply to a thread or a post or whatever, or you could DM them. But I feel like it's kind of more formal if you reply to a post. Where here you could comment on someone's card, and then you can like quickly you can even share that same card to someone else. It's just really easy to like. I can't even name how many times during the day I'll see something, and I'll be like, oh, I know Tim collects this guy. Oh, or like Kelvin collects Brodeur. Let me just quickly share. It takes 2 seconds to share, and I think just the ease of the posting and the sharing, it's so much easier, and it's just friendlier to use. Because I know, like for example, like on forums, you gotta put the picture on like a Flickr or a photo bucket to post, and then you gotta post it. Like it's just so much easier, especially like the stories too. If you want to do like a sale or trade, like I just feel like it's just easier.
Right.
It's more streamlined.
Yes. Exactly.
I would agree with that. And I'll add on to that. For me, I think it's the easiest platform for exposure. It's sort of piggybacking off what Alex said, but a lot of, even Facebook, even that can be very streamlined in itself. But when I'm looking at all these Facebook groups, it's like the level of which we can view each other's profiles and each other's cards that each person has. You don't get that through Facebook alone. So not even that platform could really provide what Instagram can provide. And so I just feel like Instagram is really the easiest place to connect and expose and, your collection and things like that.
It's definitely a lot easier, isn't it? I mean, Kelvin, you've been on a lot of forums too, man. I mean, the ease of interaction and sharing and just being able to showcase cards, it feels like this is exactly what the doctor ordered, right?
Exactly. Just everything congregated into like one platform. Like Alex was saying, it was so annoying. You scan everything, upload to photo bucket, gotta make sure the link works. You hyperlink it in the forums. People might not even look at it. You're doing all this work, and then it's just easier with Instagram. Just take a picture, post it. Within the comments, you can have discussions sometimes, or people say, hey, cool card, and spark a little, small talk there, and then eventually, you learn about their collections. It's so easy to see other people's collection, and what everyone else said. It's just easy to share, a story. Hey, here's a card for Matt. Here's a card for Alex. Card for Tim. It's just so easy.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think Jeremy nailed it on the nail on the head there. It's just like it. It just the Hobby Insider that operating system, Hobby Insider, very similar to Sports Card Forum, blowout cards. I mean, they're all kind of within the same realm. Yeah, and I kind of tier them like that. Like all those are on the bottom. Facebook, I mean, the 90s baseball card group that I'm still in, but then I was posting about, I mean, that was a great way to really interact and talk with people and branch out. That's where I met most of my closest collecting friends that are baseball collectors. And then Instagram is just the ease of it, right? I think it's much more seamless, and you can kind of, filter what type of people you're going to be seeing cards from every day. You can be looking to buy, sell, trade constantly. You can look to find collectors like ourselves. You can look for just high end. I mean, there's definitely so many people out there that it's the variety is never ending, I guess. So it's definitely up there as the best platform in my mind, because it is all about showcasing at the end of the day. And we're all so far away, but we all get to see these collections that we'd otherwise have a hard time taking a look at.
But I also want to throw.
Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
It's all right. One thing I want to throw out there, though, is like for me, I love Instagram. We're going to be focusing on Instagram throughout this episode. But forums will always play a part in my hobby activity, because each platform has its pros and cons, or strengths and weaknesses.
Definitely.
The level of detail and depth you can do at a forum for, like, for example, show and tells, you cannot really get that anywhere else. Yes, you can get it on Facebook. I mean, because I don't think there is a character limit like there is on Instagram. But you can really be creative and very detailed, and have a great story that you can explain on forums. And for me personally, without forums, I probably would not be collecting to the degree I am today. Because like I started on sports card forum in 2008 when I was a teenager, and that's where I really, really started to pick up my pace as far as collecting, my interest, and it really helped me evolve from there. Instagram is a natural evolution of the platforms and the hobby, but forums, make no mistake, are very foundational, and they still have a place in the hobby today.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I started on like Beckett back in the day, and then I did a whole bunch of other ones.
That's right.
And then when they kind of went boop overnight, that's when actually I had made a Hobby Insider account a couple months before Beckett went down, and then when Beckett went down, everyone went to Hobby Insiders. So I looked like I was part of the gang that went over, but I was there before. But I remember like on there was one called Hobby Kings. It was more basketball, and I would, like exactly what Tim just said, I would have my mail, and I would have like a huge description of every single thing. I would have like a song on the top that people can listen to throughout the thing.
That's cool.
And I would write like these essays of like Bargnani cards and stuff.
That's cool, man.
Whereas like, you're right, on Instagram you could do that, I guess, like in parts, like every picture you can do your whole long thing, but it is a little different. Yeah, you're right. I agree with Tim on that.
And Kelvin, I think we've had a chat about this too, and that it's so easy to miss that on Instagram. It's so easy to miss like the descriptions, because sometimes you and I are just like, man, I'm super happy to have this card. Look how shiny it is, and then we put our hashtags, and that's it, right? But like, Kelvin's going to be posting a card that we're not going to share unless he shares it at the end, and kind of like the story probably of how you got it and how much you wanted it and all these different things. Like, you can definitely miss that. Whereas a forum, I think you go there specifically to read those kind of things. And I do love doing that. And I have to admit, like, if I could take a picture on my computer that looked as good as my phone, I'd post everything from my computer. But nobody, I don't know if you guys have seen that, where people take pictures holding the card out like that. It's the funniest thing. Oh, geez. But so I love typing a description, but it definitely gets missed. Kelvin, how much time do you put into that aspect of it, because it's Instagram, like posting a long description and all that stuff?
I actually didn't even start doing descriptions until like somewhat recently, just like a couple months ago. It's just I used to just post like, the set and then the name of it and the serial number. That's it. And then I was like, some cards I'm more excited than others, so like I'll just write a little blurb, just just get it out there. Hey, it's this card means a little more to me, but like I'm not ranking the cards, but just like what I felt at the time.
It's kind of funny too, because there's a card that's sitting in front of me now that Jeremy knows quite well, and I posted kind of happenings of how it happened and the timeline and whatever. So one of the first comments, I think it was Justin Malden, if I said that correctly. He's putting the whole master set of Metal Universe together from last year. He's like, dang, great story, you know, super cool how it got in there. And then yesterday, somebody commented, would love to know how you obtained this card. And I was like, you know, like it's in the description, but like I think that just goes to show that I think some people don't look for that level of detail on Instagram because I don't think a lot of people tend to go that route. I think we do at times. You know, Tim, he's got his want list that he puts in there. I don't know, Tim, if you've ever kind of put in there like this trade came from this person. Thank goodness I did this.
Sometimes,
right. And Alex, I know that you like to have fun with your descriptions too. You know, whether it's a funny wrestling card or whatever. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is sometimes it's easy to miss. You know, because I think the forums were where everybody took the time to post descriptions. You know, like Name, he does a pretty good job of, you know, not only thanking people that help him get the cards, but posting like, okay, well, I traded with this guy, and then this guy ended up with this card. Now I have it, and so kind of seeing the card's journey. But yeah, I guess I'm bringing this up because it does help to just, you know, it's like because it's so easy to just scroll, double tap, scroll, double tap, scroll, double tap, and we all do it. You know, it's like I got 5 minutes and I'm
all the time
building a rocket ship in the bathroom, so I need to, you know, I need to go through and show some support to people, but. Of course. I think sometimes it's easy to miss, you know, the description. So I just am throwing it out here. It's good to take the time to do that. But I do have to say that having the website and having a blog makes me want to talk more about cards like you guys used to do on forums. We all used to do that. And that was fun, wasn't it? I love it. I got to go find one of Alex's old posts with like the song.
Hey,
and
I have them on Blowout. I still have all my Bargnani ones on.
You gotta throw the link in the chat for us after this. I want to go check them out.
All right, sounds good. They're still. I'm pretty sure they're all up there.
Okay, cool. So it's Kelvin. Kelvin's like the worst spot right now, right? I'm surprised it doesn't bump him up. Yeah. But Jeremy says, I wonder if it would help if we did like that. Now Kelvin's still blocked out. That's too funny. Anyway, if there's no short description, I tend to scroll. Yeah, I mean, is that the same with you guys though? All three of you tend to take depending on the day, right? Do you take the time?
Yeah.
Take a peek at what people wrote about it.
It depends. Like, if I'm you know just rushing through, which I do sometimes, I probably won't even read someone's long, intricate, beautiful description. But like I'll be honest, but I do like reading when someone takes the time to type something out, and maybe it's someone that you interact with all the time. Like if Tim wrote something, then I'm more inclined to obviously read it.
Right.
Than just like some random person. But yeah, I try to give it the time of day, but sometimes I just rush past it. It's just human nature.
We all have tons of stuff, but it is really cool whether it's somebody you really know or whether you come across a new account. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. You come across this account and the guy or whoever is taking the time on every post. You're like, this is a person who loves their collection from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I tend to A, want to interact with those people more, and B, look forward to seeing their posts more. Not that the other ones are not great, but you know, those people are definitely the ones that I find myself, you know, kind of, you know, going towards a little bit more. And then, you know, I do too. I think we all can agree with that. It's in our group chat too. I will say it's really cool when you all share. You know, we do a great job of sharing, like, hey, this card's available, hey, this card's available, whatever. But it's cool when you all share one, like, hey, go check out how this guy got this card. You know, it happens once in a blue moon, but it is really cool. Like, dang, no way. Like, this card's been sitting in this dude's collection for 15 years, and he's like, oh, let me open this box. Oh, wait, look what I have. It's a Gretzky autograph or something like that. So that's always a lot of fun. All right. So think back to when you kind of first got on Instagram. Talk to us about the first, like, memorable interaction, trade, purchase, you know, sale, whatever. Like, what's one of the first, like, oh, wow, this is going to be a good experience. I'm glad I decided to join Instagram.
Well, I remember my first purchase and transaction on Instagram. It was actually during the first virtual sports card expo. And somebody reached out to me about a Zetterberg 2002-2003 Be a Player Signature Series Redemption rookie. The autograph version. But the thing is, this was the redemption where it had like the sticker on the actual card itself, and then you would have to mail it in, and then you get the actual autograph.
Right.
But I like collecting the actual redemptions. And so for that to pop up, that person, reached out to me and he said, "Hey, are you part of Instagram?" I was like, "Yeah." So he said, "Let's do the transaction on Instagram because it's easier to communicate." So without, Instagram, I probably would not have that unique Zetterberg Redemption rookie my collection.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first one that really stuck out to me.
That's pretty cool. I haven't bought. See, I bought a lot of cards on Instagram, but not as much obviously as eBay. I've done more selling on Instagram, and I've done a couple trades. So I don't really have maybe a card I'll show off later for a decent Instagram story, but I don't really have one that I can remember where I'm like, this is one that I got because of Instagram or like a super memorable one. But I guess kind of answering your question, I've had a couple guys that I've made deals with. Like one guy I sold a card to twice, and then another guy I've traded with, and they live like pretty close to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Like literally within like 5-10 minute drive, or yeah. So like that's kind of a cool aspect of like there's collectors everywhere around you, or maybe not for you, Matt, but there's people. And it's just like I met these people on Instagram, and they literally live like super close to me.
That's cool.
But yeah, I've done a couple like local deals, probably more than you would think. But yeah, I had like one guy, maybe a 30-minute drive, and it was a pretty high-end deal. So I ended up, instead of ship, you don't want to ship.
No, you go drive and meet him. Yeah.
It was like $800 worth of car. Like, to me, that's high end.
$800
worth of car. It's some people that's chump change, but to me, so I'm like, I'm not shipping this. I drove it to him, and just easy peasy. So, yeah.
Happy Canadian Thanksgiving, by the way, to all our Canadian viewers out there, including Al. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. What about yourself there, Kelvin? Like maybe not with a deal or a purchase, but you've been pretty lucky to find some really, really cool Marty Brodeur collectors. Do you have any memory of your first, especially super cool cardboard? He seems like one of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. Do you have any interactions that kind of stuck out to you as some of the first ones?
I'm trying to think. My first one, like the reason I got on Instagram, because during the pandemic, it was like, oh, the forums are kind of dead. Or like not too much activities going on, at least.
Which is surprising, right? I think we all expected the opposite.
Yeah, and I was like, where did everyone go? And then I'm like, I see Facebook groups, but most of it just seems like transactional. And I was like, oh, I wonder if people are on Instagram. And then I searched up the hashtag, Martin Brodeur, and then that's when I found Amish Dave Archer.
Oh yeah,
he posted like a ton of like crazy Brodeur cards, and I reached out to him. I was like, oh hey, and then I think I had a chat with him like, oh, do people post on here and stuff, and then that's when I started to I was like, all right, let's start posting and stuff, and then that's how I got started. But I can't remember my first transaction. I'm trying to think here. Like I've sold very few. Like I post some cards during the expo, like some pickups, and people would just be like, oh hey, I'm interested in this and that. But I think most of it is like from Super Cool Cardboard, because he has such an insane collection. I bought like all the gold prisms and all this stuff all in one sweep and like a bunch of cards. So
that's cool.
I think he definitely was added quite a bit to the collection.
Yeah, no, he's really been helpful for you. But it's awesome to have those be some of our first experiences on Instagram. Mine were all very good. I got to give Miles a shout out. I don't think he's here, but Hockey Card Nostalgia. He was one of the first that was like, hey, I love the Tebow collection you got going, and best of luck with Instagram and all that. Just having multiple people reach out, not only just saying hello, but saying, hey, I got this Tebow I've had in a box for 5 years. Do you want it? That kind of stuff. That was always really refreshing to me, because when you're collecting A-Rod with the 90s insert market was like this, and then it went like that basically when the pandemic hit. There wasn't anybody reaching out with that kind of stuff. It was usually like, hey, I got this PMG. I want $2,000 for it. It's like, okay, like that just isn't going to happen, So all my interactions were super positive, and it just seemed like it was a community feel. and then I met Al, and then I met Name, and then all these other people kind of came along naturally because I was collecting 90s. And big shout out 90s card collector. Do you guys know him? I think he's got a Cujo. He got this custom Cujo card made of his favorite Curtis Joseph card. Like he's looking to the right with the wolf mask, and Connie as well. Connie, I think all those people were super friendly, and that just motivated me to keep posting. And so yeah, it was trying to remember my first purchase.
It's hard to remember.
I
I can't even think of it.
This is not Name. Kelvin and I, our favorite dealer at the expo, actually bought a card from him for really cheap. He was back when he was super friendly. So he hooked me up, man. He found this really nice T-Boat. It was one of the fractal matrix die cuts from Leaf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hey, sweet, good deal and everything. So I still have that positive memory carrying me through. But that was one of my first, actually. And then with Flurry, people came out of the woodworks with his cards. One of the coolest ones was probably Carter. His name's Carter, and he doesn't really post cards, but it was the tape-to-tape auto out of 20. That's probably my most memorable Instagram purchase, just because I've never seen one. I probably won't see another one anytime soon, and he just came out of nowhere. So it was awesome. It's really been helpful. All right, let's do a little shout-out round of questions here. Somebody's fire alarm needs to be replaced, by the way, the battery. I heard it.
It ain't mine.
Not mine.
Nope.
I don't think it was me either. Talk about an account or two that has been an inspiration for you as far as either your photography, the way you describe what you have, the frequency in which you post, just some way that's kind of dictated, an account that's dictated the way that you post and interact with people.
I definitely have a couple, so I'll start first. I'll throw this out there. Besides yourself, because each three of you, I love your profiles for different reasons. Of course, Alex, I love the variety. Matt, I love, the flurry passion, and I also love your photography. That's one thing I like about your pictures too, the quality. And the same thing goes for Kelvin too. The quality of the pictures is great, and also like it just is right up my alley because everything he has is shiny. So that speaks volumes to me. But outside of, our select group, a couple that really speak to me is one is numerological serial thriller.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Because you guys know I love Jersey numbered. So his is like a haven, or not a haven, a heaven of Jersey numbered cards. And so I love looking at his stuff every day. And then another one that speaks to me is actually, I think it's Pops with a Z, POPZ collection.
Nick,
my goodness, he has one of my favorite collections of all time. And it's like, it's not like he posts the most ultimate high-end stuff, while he does have some, but it's the variety that he has. He has a lot of wing stuff, shiny all the way through. It's a great showcase of 90s cards. So if you really want to know what 90s hockey is about, in my opinion, you go to Pop's collection and you get the best highlights of the 90s. Low end, high, mid end, high end. You get a good variety from that. And I feel like there was one more, but those are really the two that speak to me the most as far as on Instagram is concerned.
I'll throw these, as you guys are mentioning these profiles, I'll throw them in the public chat so people can grab them and take a peek at them.
And actually, Al is on here. I want to throw him a shout out because he does something that not a lot of us do. He had the challenges.
Yeah.
He had that, interactive aspect that not a lot of other people do. So Al was pretty good in doing that as well.
Mm-hmm. Al is all about the community. He deserves a lot of credit. He's always, trying to bring people together, and he actually gave a shout out to this episode in the whole group chat thing there, which is pretty cool. So
let's give him a round of applause.
Yep. Golf clap for Al.
There
Well done. Awesome. Those are I love all those kind. And numerological thriller also does art too. I think you guys have seen some of the art that he does. That one flurry piece on the Beckett page that he did. I mean, that's just so cool. I can't wait to get that thing framed up. It's a really interesting dimension. I think 11 by 14 or something. I don't know. I have to figure it out, but really cool looking.
I'll go next. I actually wrote a couple down. I did some homework. You'd probably love
Oh,
that, Matt.
I am going to give you a round of applause for that.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I appreciate that.
I want to give everyone a little bit of like. There's probably hundreds of accounts that I love looking at, but these are just a couple that I was like, off the top of my head and kind of thinking about. But it's gonna sound like a cheap plug, but I love Tim's account. He knows that he collects so many players that I love, like Kovalchuk, Semin, especially from back in the day. And I love the jersey number aspect. I don't really personally, and Tim knows this, I don't particularly collect jersey number stuff, but I'll always add a jersey number card if I can pick that over the alternative and maybe pay a little bit of premium. But just a couple here. Name, I actually wrote down name. I'm not saying that just because his name is up there. There's a couple of basketball guys. I know this is predominantly hockey, but there's one guy, Slang and Rock. So like Slang NROX.PC. So he collects like a lot of like Sacramento Kings and a bunch of other stuff. But he has a really nice Quincy Doobie collection. Anybody know who Quincy Doobie is?
I should know this.
Nope.
I should. Is it a football player?
No, he's basketball. He is basketball.
Oh no, Quincy Doobie. Did he play for Sacramento for a bit?
He did, and he also played on the Raptors very briefly.
Right.
But he shares the same rookie year as Bargnani. So like, when someone shows off the same types of cards that you own, and like how low numbered a lot of them are and stuff, it's like some of those cards you post, I'm like, man, I love those cards. So him, I love his collection. You're welcome, name. Great collection as well. There's another guy, Deputy Dog. So DEPITYDOG.
I cannot think of what I'm supposed to be thinking of right now. Like the Deputy Dog.
Again, he also has other collections, but one collection I love of his is another really obscure 06-07 rookie, Ronnie Brewer. He played on the Jazz.
Dude, he was a great defender, though. He's a great defender. Gave Wade problems a lot.
So some of the cards that he posts of his, and it's just like, again, half the people on Instagram probably give no, I'm not going to swear, about like any of those cards, but I love them. I love those cards so much. There's a couple other guys. Karolenko collector. He's like a very big Andrei Karolenko collector.
That's cool.
Really,
Yeah.
He's a great dude too. Like we talk all the time. He sends me pictures of Bargnani cards that I might have not seen. I've made a couple deals with him. Great guy.
Awesome.
And then just again, there's tons of hockey guys, and I know I'm forgetting so many people. But there's one guy I really like, Dennis _87 pens.
Yeah.
His Dennis Cabral. And one thing I really appreciate about his collection, and it's a little bit different than like kind of a lot of people. I think he's been collecting Crosby since like before Crosby was in the NHL.
Oh wow!
So a lot of the cards that he has like amazing cards. So, like the Ice rookie out of 99, Future Watch auto patch. But he's had those cards since like before they took off. You know what I mean? It's not like he's just buying them now and like anyone could throw money at a card and just buy it. I guess not everyone, but if someone has the money. But I appreciate his collection that he's built it, and he got in on all that stuff before it was like sky high. So just a couple people. There's so many that I'm missing, but there's just a couple guys that kind of jumped out in my mind.
You gave me some basketball card accounts to go follow on my basketball account that I just created, so I will go look those guys up.
There's tons, man. There's so many.
You have to just like send them all to me in like a chat. Just send them all to me because I definitely need to find a few. And I appreciate. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to second what Alex said. I appreciate guys who collect players that are not major players. Like obviously Jocelyn Thibault collector. I mean he's loved him ever since he was in the league. Like guys that have loved more obscure players since before they made it to the pros. Those are the type of accounts that I tend to enjoy just as much, if not more, than the guys that collect McDavid and Crosby and all that, because it's hard to find some of those cards. I mean, ask Alex; he collects a pretty obscure player, and he's got almost everything, but he's still hunting for a card from MVP, I think, right? So
it's crazy
stuff. Cool. I got all those linked in the chat there. Great accounts.
All right. So for mine, my first one, since he's always the first post every day when I wake up, is 5 whole cards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
like his uniformity. I like how he's always like he posts early and he just happens to be the first one, and I'll always like it. So
Who's the autographed puck behind, like in the background of his posts?
I think is it McKinnon? Wait, I have to double check.
Is it? I've been always thinking about that because I see his posts a lot too.
But if you look at the
oh, no, it's
Gretzky, is it a different guy every time, or is it always because it looks like New Hook? Or did Kerfoot play for them? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Is that Landeskog? No wait.
Oh, you know what? It's probably Landeskog. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
McKinnon.
Yeah.
It might be
Looks like it
Landeskog.
says Chloe. You know what I mean? Like with the way that it's written. But it's yeah, that's cool. Great photography on that account too. I always love all the shine
That's
that
true.
he posts.
Yeah, the uniform, just like me, you know, same background and everything. So I enjoy that. And then I have one Devils guy, Drew Jersey Devils. And yeah, he's a big. I met this guy at one of the card shows in Michigan, and super nice guy, very passionate, loves the Devils, and he's a big Devils fan. And I gave him some of my stuff that I had laying around. He collects Brodeur, but like on a lighter scale, obviously he likes more of the modern guys. He likes Hughes and I forget who else now. Jesper Brad, and he likes used to be Miles Wood, but yeah, he there's a ton of it.
Blackwood as well.
True. Yeah.
Maybe not so much Blackwood anymore, but I think at one point maybe. But yeah, he was a big Hughes guy, and I have there's so many good like all these Lightning guys just recently followed me, and man, they have some insane collections.
Yeah, Bolts on Ice, is that one that you're
Bolts on
gonna say?
Ice was one of them, but there's also Sports Card Spot.
Yeah, he has the Kucherov stuff.
Yeah, he has like the sparkling diamond, like basically the counterpart of what I collect, but like for Lightning players. I'm like, yeah, he has some really crazy stuff.
I'm not seeing.
I'm gonna have to go back and like follow half these people.
Is it Sports Card Spot?
Yeah, Sports Card Spot.
Oh, there he is. Okay, good. The most embarrassing thing is when somebody says an account I should go follow, and it says follow back, and I'm like, oh god, like, why didn't I follow back? Why wouldn't I? I mean, I love this. Just looking at it, the way he uses the pictures, with the cards, like the pictures of the players, is something new. And then now he's doing the wood table. That's a really classy way to do cards. So awesome. Okay, I'll put that one in here as well. Here, I've got a couple recommendations real quick before you do my next one. One from Al. Howie definitely deserves a shout out. If you guys don't follow Radolad, he does a lot of research before he posts stuff. A lot of descriptions that talk about more vintage type stuff usually, but yeah, awesome account. And then I'm not familiar with Cavs Eiserman. I know who Pops Eiserman cards is, but not Cavs Eiserman cards.
I think I follow him too.
Yeah,
okay.
Me too. I think I do too.
It's so hard to remember like all these usernames too, because there's probably people that I've messaged like multiple times, but if you hey, what's his username? I'll have no clue, or his real name, I'll have no clue.
It gets overwhelming at times because there's so many people and you want to be friendly to everyone, but you just got to keep up a constant communication, because if you don't, sometimes it's for both people it's easy to forget. Anyway, sorry to cut you off, Kelvin. I want to make sure I showed those.
Yeah, no worries at all. So yeah, my last two both for the same reason, because their collection is just like insane variety. Well, obviously Art Boyad one, he collects like 3 times as much as Tim's like players. Like he has like the most obscure people I've never heard of in my life, and I collected it like during those years too. I'm like, I don't remember this guy at all. Like, what? Who is he?
Do you remember, Kelvin? We were laughing because B was coming soon for Brodeur, and you're like, oh gosh, I wonder what cards he has, because we was posting 101s and these crazy tough cards of Panini, which Kelvin and I want of our guys, and Kelvin's like, oh crap, he's getting to BR because he's going out for a while. And thankfully, no big deal there. And then F started showing up. I'm like, oh, he's gonna show at least one that I'm like, oh, great. And he didn't have either. So great cards, but we were like, phew, thank God.
Yeah. Oh, I was so happy. Yeah. And then the other one is Medano 9 collector. He's a newer guy. Yep. Tim was the one that brought him to Instagram to message me about some cards, and then had a long chat, and then he I was just telling him, about like the Instagram community, and he didn't know like it was that big, and then he started posting everything, and then it's just like, I was like, there's some cool cards, and then gradually I'm like, oh my, this guy opened a ton, and this is just stuff that he's opened and then just had after all these years.
And he's super fair with his prices. Nathan is an awesome dude. He
Yeah.
hopped in when we were doing our chat last weekend, and he's super cool dude.
Very awesome guy.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of good accounts for people that are watching. We have 5 people watching right now, so that's our typical viewership, and people kind of trickle in, so that's great. Well, hopefully people who watch this on YouTube here, you got all these links in the chat. Just click on them or copy paste, go follow these people. Yeah, I think we would all support them 100%. Just so many on my end, but I'll start with Crease Collector. That's Aaron. He's a big Jonas Inroth collector, and he has website inspired me to make mine. You got to meet him last year. You traveled overseas and met him and got to take a tour, and it was just he just loves collecting Jonas Inroth, and he does the Cinderized card cast too. So we definitely got to give him a shout out. It's gonna be hard for me to shout people out and post at the same time, but I'm gonna do it.
I did an in-person deal with him actually, but it wasn't on Instagram, so I can't mention it on this episode.
Doesn't qualify.
It was on Twitter actually. I had a card. I sold him a Gretzky rookie, and we met Kelvin No Wonderland. We met near Wonderland, and it's like a big theme park. At like
sounds like the one that was from like what is that zombie movie that Woody Harrelson was in?
Zombieland.
Yeah. Anyway, it sounds like that was
something different movie. Yeah, great guy.
Awesome.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of everybody that we've mentioned are super cool dudes. I've got, even though he collects a pretty high end player, his photography and his little shorts, he inspired me to do a lot of my shorts, like with the rotating display. That is, I always want to say Cardiac Jim, but it's not Cardiac Jim, it's Carditic Jim. He's a big Cale Makar collector and a super nice dude. I know he's overseas, but always has top notch photography and his little short videos. He was like, dude, you should try this. Definitely gonna reach more people, and it's a different way to show off cards, and it definitely was a good choice on my end. Gosh, I'm so afraid I'm gonna forget somebody major, because I know after the show I'm gonna be like, oh man, I look at this guy's account every day. I do want to give a funny shout out to Kelvin's biggest fan, because I asked him why he names the account that. He goes, because he's my hero. So you've got some people out there fanboying on you for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's so many others that we can mention on here. It would be endless. But those are a couple that I quite enjoy a lot. So cool. Yeah, that was fun. All right, let's let me see here. We've kind of covered a couple. What's been good is we kind of cover these within our topics here. All right, so.
And guys, just throwing this out there, I got 12 minutes left on a card that I want to bid, so remind me. Remind me.
Did you know that I just learned this recently, when the notification comes up on your phone, you can push and hold, and it'll give you another one a minute before the end of the auction? Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah. So when the eBay thing pops up on your phones, push and hold, and Logan taught me this. Got to give Logan a shout out. His account is also awesome. Lomac 12. When it pops up, push and hold, and the thing will come up 1 minute, 2 minutes before the end. Just click 1 minute, and then it'll come up again 1 minute before the end of the auction.
Wow. Yep. Learn something new every day. I did not know that.
Same.
Yeah. Alex is smiling. Did you know that one, Alex?
I didn't know about the 1 minute, but I clicked that accidentally like a long time ago, and is there like a 3 minute one too?
There used to be. I think you can set it wherever you want, but I always just click 1 if I'm in the middle of something. So
I definitely won an auction right in the beginning of this episode. I haven't bought a card in like 2 weeks, and so I finally won something tonight. Thankfully.
Awesome. I mean, Josh, which is great about our discussion. I'm looking through all these questions, like we covered that, like we've kind of like touched on it all. All right, this is a good one. So let's assume you get a person or two per episode that watches this that still hasn't hopped on Instagram before, right? They're like, I don't know, man, it might be a lot of time I need to take to do it. What advice would you give to somebody who was like us during the pandemic when it started, and thinking about hopping on to Instagram? If you were gonna, in my mind, I'm like, well, if I was gonna teach a class, what would be my bullet points on my PowerPoint that I would talk about? Like, it'd be fun for each of us. Like, what is a piece of advice that you would give to a new collector that's looking to hop onto Instagram and have a similar experience to us?
For me, well, I don't mind if I could start first. I would say just do it, because I understand like you want to give the collector a lot of points to start off well, but I feel like if you do that, in a sense, it'll just, you're creating a rubric. You're creating something like if he cannot meet those bullet points, then he's not going to do it. So I would just say, just do it. No matter what camera you're using, hopefully it's not a potato, but no matter what camera you're using,
razor,
or exactly, whatever background you're working with, just start out, just have fun with it and then evolve. Find out what, whatever your creative side is, explore that. So that would be one piece of advice I would give. Try to be a little creative with it. If you're like me and Kelvin and you're like uniformity, try to work on a background that would, sort of help that uniformity. That's what I love. That's why my background sort of never changes. And then for me, like, I always just try, ever since when I was a teenager, even before I did hockey card forms, things like that, I was a shoe collector. And ever since those days, I would, exactly, Kelvin, I would always tag my pictures. So that would be something I would, sort of say to do as well, because let's say you want to use that image for Facebook, right? A lot of these Facebook groups require tags. So, and it's just a good way to get your name out there. Be creative with it too. There's stand-up displays with your username, things like that. So I would say explore your creative side, but also just do it,
Great advice. I agree. Love it.
Sponsored by Nike.
Dude, right? I had the just do it thing popped right in my head.
Yeah.
Just share the screen.
I would probably say, I'm going to piggyback on Tim. I completely agree. Just do it. Like the positives would completely outweigh any negatives. Like even if you're not going to post too much or you're maybe hesitant in posting, at least like I found so many cards just by using Instagram. I mean, other like on Twitter, I love to research. I love to like search and try to find something that people haven't found. So I feel like just that aspect, like use the hashtags, hashtag Britter, right? Like you said, Kelvin, you'll find cards. And I've found cards that I've been posted like 6 years ago, and I'll message the person, hey, do you still have this? Like, and it's happened a couple of times where I was able to make deals like that. So even if you're not going to post, or you're again hesitant of posting, or you don't know how to post, or your theme or whatever, at least you can use Instagram or other social medias for different reasons. So yeah, like, what are you afraid of? Just do it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, I agree. It's like I would tell them like my experience, like, oh, it's great, you meet a lot of cool people, cool collectors, then you see a ton of cards that look nice, and then all that. So I mean that's how my conversation went with Nathan, like Medano 9 collector. I just told him, it's a pretty big community, a lot of great people, great collection, all that. And then he started building it, and then I didn't like tell him really, but like he like figured out everything himself. He like posted everything like in like I think it's 10 pictures max per post, right? He's posted like 10 cards and then like 10 posts, and then it's like all bad pictures. But then like I saw him like evolve,
he was leveling up.
Yeah, he was leveling up.
Right.
There's that picture like Matt showed me, was like he had the mini jerseys and his legs were like, I didn't even notice. Then now his posts, he found like a theme kind of, and then and it's just great to see that evolution, like how he started and how he is now. So I think it's on for that part. It's on it's per person. Everyone likes different things, value different things, and I think the only advice I would give is just to get started. I think consistency is probably the most important, right? Consistently posting. Like it doesn't have to be like every day. You just be twice, 3 times a week, at least every other day. Get your account gets seen by people and stuff. So I think that's the only advice I'd give.
All sound advice for sure. I'm gonna piggyback off all your comments and say, I think although we just talked about it, sometimes you've got 5 minutes to spare and you want to show some support to all these accounts that you love, like, move on with your day. I think it's good to, and just like on YouTube, when we're trying to branch out our community, is like take a day or two when you're on there and like stop and not only just kind of read what they post, but like leave a comment. I think the fire, like I can hear somebody cooking in the background right now, like fire is good. I like that. And I usually respond with like an extinguisher or something. Oh, it's Tim. He gave it away. I was hoping you were cooking dinner for everybody, but I think like making a comment or talking about, that you like that card of your player, I think that can go a long way, and like building a community feel for yourself. So I think that's super important to do that. And yeah, I don't want to take the credit for this, but Pop's collection, I know we had a fun discussion just like you did, Kelvin, with Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Instagram, why would I go on there? I'm like, dude, your collection's incredible, by the way. And secondly, there's a lot of really nice people on there. And so Nick, when I first did the Roundtable, he got on Instagram, and he has such a beautiful collection. But to see his display leveling up as more people have followed and like asked him about his cards, I mean, it's just been amazing to see. So that is really neat to see when people hop on and you interact with them, and you can see them gradually increasing their XP as they're on Instagram. So it's cool. But yeah, great advice, I think, from everybody, for sure.
I have one more piece of advice. If we're giving like just general advice, I would say to people, like especially new people on Instagram or kind of any forum or whatever, is be cautious as well. Lots of great people, but it's so like, it's, for example, if you're gonna buy a car for $20 and guys, hey, can you send PayPal? And maybe it's someone that you're not like, that you don't know, or they don't have vouchers or whatever. Like, why would you send like PayPal friends and family? Just send like PayPal goods and services. You have full protection, and you're paying like almost nothing extra. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes the extra like dollar or two just for safety. Like luckily I've never been scammed in terms of like getting my money back and all that stuff. And I've been collecting for 15 years online, right? So you have to be safe. It's obviously luck as well, but just cover all your bases when you're buying and selling and trading. There's a lot of people out there, especially like on I see it all the time on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah.
Right. Just protect yourself.
It just happened to me, actually. Yeah. I posted up a totally certified Barkov patch out of 10. I bought that on Facebook. Dude never responded back to me. Paid goods and services, because I always do that, and it'll take some time, but I'll get my money back eventually. So that's good advice. Just be cautious.
Absolutely. And to piggyback off that, don't be afraid to reach out to any of us, to people that you've built up a friendship with. Reach out and ask. Check on prices. We do that with each other still, and I feel like we're all pretty darn knowledgeable, and our first instinct is usually right. But still, we like to double check, like, hey, I feel like this is too much. And then Logan, before I met you guys, was good about being like, nah, dude, that's cheap. Or he'd be like, no, you're way overpaying. But I think that, and also like, hey, I'm about to buy a card from Joe Sakic 19XX. Is he cool? And, all of us would be like, don't you dare buy a card from him, or Kelvin or Tim. But no, it's just like, don't be afraid to reach out. I think all of us, many of us, everybody you've seen in the chat is more than happy to be helpful if that's what you're looking for. And, be kind, reach out and don't just say your cards, I want to buy your cards or whatever. Just be like, hey, dude, that's a great collection. Yeah. I have this collection I put together, and usually all of us are like, hey, let's see it. Get it on Instagram. We want to check it out. So cool. Yeah, all good pieces of advice. Kelvin, are you taking notes for us right now? By the way,
sorry. I just wanted. I was going for an auction as well too, so I
had to get him. I knew he was focused. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Oh my gosh, 1 minute and 50 seconds. I completely forgot.
All right, so why don't we, Alex and I can have a quick chat while you guys do your auctions. But Alex, so I'll just throw this to you. We did all the shout outs. We've actually covered all 10 of these topics, which is great. Just like throw me like a closing thought, like, I guess one question that we never really got to is like, what do you look forward to every day when you hop onto Instagram? When you open up the app, it's like, all right, cool. Like, what are the things that you're hoping to see, and what makes you happy when you get on there?
I'm not going to lie. I think like this current day, this second, I kind of enjoy the interactions via message, like our group chat, and I talk to Tim like pretty much every day. A couple of other people that I've talked to every once in a while, but I feel like I can literally log in. Like today, I was pretty busy most of the day, but I logged in just to see the group chat, and I didn't look at any posts. So I feel like now, because obviously we didn't have this group chat a couple of months ago or whatever, but I feel like just the chatter I think is my favorite part at the moment until you guys piss me off. But no, I'm kidding. No,
that's not going to happen because Mitch isn't here, so everybody's happy right now.
Yeah,
Nobody's upset.
all these people that we shout out, who you don't follow?
Don't.
Mitch,
Oh,
Brady.
man.
No, I'm kidding.
It's just funny because, like, all my interaction with him and all of you guys was within this little chat on the right hand side here, and he's just like well spoken, very very appropriate and everything. Not to say that he's not, but
Whoa.
I added him to the group chat, and after like the first hour, I was like, wow, okay, this wasn't what I was expecting. But then it evolved perfectly because I think Brady was waiting to come out of his inappropriate shell at times too, like just being silly and whatnot. So. You good?
Yep, I won.
Nice.
Kelvin, what about you? Are you still waiting?
No, I won, but
Yes.
Okay,
We're 3 for 3.
Oh, dang, I need to go buy something now.
I go buy something right now.
I just buy a couple of cheapies today, which was good. Cards that look great and aren't expensive.
Just go on Copy. Great.
Dude,
great tool.
I love it. That mail day I just posted on the YouTube channel the other day. You saw it. It was so much fun to see those on the new desk with the light coming right in. It's perfect. So how about you guys, Tim, Kelvin? Either of you want to go off of that question that I just asked? It's on the bottom scrolling down there. Like, what is it about Instagram? Like when you get on every day, what do you look forward to the most?
So I'll piggyback off what Alex was saying. The group chat is A+. Like that's what I love, scrolling through every day. Of course, I speak to Alex every day, but it's also like that desire to one day see. Brady would probably have the same motivation, but to see a Datsu card, one of the remaining rookie year cards I have of Datsu, just pop up, please. Like that is what I'm looking for, because that's why I join a lot at so many platforms. It's to see if I could find these rare cards. So it's that anticipation and that hope of seeing something that I could really use that I enjoy logging into Instagram every day for.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah, for me, I think it's also the chat. It's great. You wake up, you see like 100 messages, and you're like, oh boy, what did I miss?
It's hard to keep up sometimes.
Yeah. But it's really fun. I mean, this part, like the aspect of like talking to people in the community, I haven't done it for like majority of my collecting time.
That's true.
Seeing, just talking with everyone, everyone's collecting different things. We all have our own goals and all this stuff, and just super cool. Just to chat about cards and or like dumb memes or whatever the case we're talking about. Obviously it derails, but it's always super fun.
I think there's times when it does come back, like any of the guys in the group chat or any of these people that we've shouted out or others too. I love when I get a card goes up for sale on Facebook or Instagram and I get like 30 messages. It seems like from random people I've never talked to. You guys. Hey, you got this flurry? Hey, you got this flurry? I know we've all experienced that. That just goes to show that how awesome of a community that it is. It really feels like people want to help each other out, find cards, helping each other find these cards. You never know because we all send each other all these different cards. I probably tagged Kelvin in 50 brochures that he either has or isn't really keen on, but one of these days, one of us is going to find that like top 5 card for somebody, and it's going to be like group high five. You know what I mean? Like, well done, everyone. I think if that's what's motivating you as a collector and at the top of your priorities, then I think you're doing it right. In my opinion, I think it's about everybody else before it's about you. And if you approach it that way, Instagram is a really fun place to be hanging out on. So I really don't know what else to say on that besides you guys. I love going on and seeing really amazingly photographed cards, like people who have definitely taken the time to get the photograph right, not just like slap it on the table, take the picture. I got my toes poking out under the table. Like I get it. It's a good place to start, but I really appreciate people who take the time. Logan's always somebody that I can tell takes the time to crop it and get the angle right and whatnot. Obviously, Kelvin does that, and then Alex, I know he scans a lot of his cards in, and I got an appreciation for that because it spent a lot of my life, probably days, if I were to add it together, scanning the collection. It is a process, and to get it right and do it well is awesome.
I take every card out of the soft sleeve. Everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My chubby fingers, like right here, just gets all scratched and everything.
Oh yeah.
Brutal. Like digging into the top loader. Like, oh my Lord.
Dude, that was a process, and I told you guys, like, and we've all experienced it. If you ever take a card completely out, taking like when I scan this card in, I can't show it yet. We're not there yet, but that card in front of me, I'm just gonna just pretend it's $5. Just put it on the scanner, scan it, put it back in, set it there. Just like don't think anything else of it. Like thank God the PMG green is graded because like with how sensitive, like your fingernail. Can you imagine like peeling a piece of the green off there? Like I would just like melt in my chair. It would be the worst feeling. So, yeah, I do like that. But yeah, just seeing people who not just take the time for photographs, but I look forward to people who are going to tell me a cool story like that. Like, oh man, this guy's been after this card for 3 years. Or, like Connie the other day posted like a game used or J4 or Gorgiev collector. Got to give him a shout out. He's got like 30 game used like pads and gloves and jerseys and sticks. I'm like, where are you getting all this stuff? And he posts where the game, like what game it was from and how he got it. And like he'll post like a picture of a mark on the stick and there's him making a stick save. I'm like, that is freaking awesome. Love that stuff. Cool. So yeah, definitely me. Well, we're at an hour, so why don't we call this good on the Instagram discussion and maybe we can wrap up with an addition or two to your collection that is pretty significant, that means a lot to you guys. This would be a good time to do that, and then we'll call it good.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I'll go first.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So it's a card I have shown off on here before, but it wraps up the whole Instagram thing. So this is a deal that I kind of alluded to earlier, but so there's a card sitting on ComC for a long time. It's of Ilya Mikheyev, who's former Leaf, now on the Canucks. So like, not a household name, like guy that I love.
I know who he is.
I love my Russians. So there's a 1-of-1 of him on ComC forever. I would always message Tim. I'm like, I want this card. And then one day it just disappeared. I'm sure everyone's had that. You go to search for it, it's gone. I'm like, no. So a couple months later, Tim, again, all Instagram based, Tim forwarded me someone's story that they were doing like a story sale. Someone had the complete rainbow of that card that I wanted for sale.
Wow.
So then I have shown this off before, so don't fault me for that.
I don't remember it, so you're good. I can't remember.
Man, perfect then. So I ended up messaging the guy. We came up like with the price, and we met locally, which is like crazy, right? Like how that worked out. And I ended up getting, I think, the whole rainbow for almost the same price as what it was on ComC. Nice. So I'm like, just perfect. Yeah, it's Ilya Mikheyev. These don't shine, which kind of sucks. But
really?
It's the Golden Treasures. The 1-of-1.
Nice.
They're definitely. I'll say this, Alex. I think you agree with me. They scan in so well, dude.
They do, but I compare it to like my Bargnani like chrome superfractors and like finest superfractors.
Yeah,
and just
very similar.
And if you just do that to it, like those other superfractors, they're crazy. And these, they're nice, but they don't have the same shine, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's still beautiful. It just doesn't present well like on my crappy laptop. Camera.
I'm gonna have a hot take over here. Personal opinion. Seismic Golds should have been the 1-in-1. That's what it. I think it should have been reversed.
Those look great.
Yeah,
those look great. Yeah.
Those look great anytime, anywhere, with any lighting. Don't matter.
Exactly.
Even I love the checker ones, the orange checkers out of 25. I think.
Yeah.
Those are bellissimo.
I'm going to throw this out. I would like to see the Emerald Surges. They look cool, but the fact that they do like the blue and the reds in retail and it's the same pattern. If you guys have ever seen, Kelvin will know this, the Prism Green out of 5, that's like a green wave looking pattern on the cards. Like there's a glass now on eBay. The guy wants way too much, but they look really cool. They look like nothing else in that set. In my opinion, I think the Emerald Surges would really take a step up if they looked unique to everything else, because they're doing them in retail with other colors. Like people are like, whoa, what? Like a yellow surge or a blue or a red surge. I would like to see them have a different overlaying pattern on them that no other card, even if it's like just pure green and there's no, it like covers up the background. That would be cool too, but just a hot take. Great looking cards, but the golds are the best out of all of them.
I agree with Tim.
Good hot take there, Tim. Like it.
What do you guys got?
I got 3. Yeah, since we're focused on the Instagram, I'll keep that one last. But just some cards that sort of stuck out to me. First, I got over here this is sort of like the Easter egg for this past year's O-Pee-Chee.
Love Easter egg cards, man.
Yeah, same here. So I love lenticular stuff. I love, the Easter eggs, short printed stuff. And so for Lucas Raymond, newest Red Wing rookie, I had to get it. That called out to me. And keeping up on the lenticular theme, I did not know that these cards were lenticular until I got it in hand. And it was these jambalayas. I had no idea these jambalayas were lenticular as well. And I got it in, and I was like, whoa, what am I even looking at over here? Because it's sort of like, blew my mind, because I had this image in my head as to what these cards were based on other pictures and scans. And I'm like, oh, shit.
You're good, dude. You're good.
Sorry about that. Hopefully
there's a ship outside your window. Yeah, it's all good.
Listen, I live right by the water, so that's very plausible.
There we go.
Sorry about that.
I got my shiv, don't worry.
It was like that moment when Charles Barkley cursed on TV. I remember, and he showed his reaction, and he was all embarrassed.
We're gonna need to edit that for YouTube, but it's okay. We're gonna keep going with it. But focusing on the Instagram aspect of it, this card I got on Instagram because somebody sort of posted it on there. I reached out to him, and this is the Tim Hortons Redemption rookie of Lucas Raymond.
That's a beautiful card.
It really is. Tim Hortons, this Upper Deck hit it out the ballpark with this Tim Hortons set, in my opinion. Great looking cards, very accessible to many people. You get your cup of coffee, you get a pack of cards. You get your 10 bits for the kids and a pack of cards, you call it a day. Kid is happy for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? So I love it. It's rare. It's on the rarer side of things. It fits with what I look for in cards, and yeah, got it on Instagram.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome. I do want to show this real quick, Kelvin, before you go. Seb was just saying that he was checking out our Instagram. Yeah, thank you, Seb. Seb, can you post your Instagram? Because I know 2 collectors named Seb on Instagram, and also it's my favorite driver's nickname. So gotta respect that. But I would love to know who that is. Anyways, just had to mention that.
Awesome. So we'll save Matt for last, of course.
Oh, the main event.
Wait. Yeah. But that depends. That depends on if you're going to show. Are you going to show something that you came back with?
Yeah, but I think yours is still better though.
I don't know about that, man. But whatever. Go ahead. You go for it.
I think yours is still better. But I actually had a mail day from Al. He reached out. He had a few cool cards. So just he sent me some for free. It was just the Fleer Retro base. I was missing the 94-95 SP die cut.
Very nice.
And then the retro Young Gun from 0102.
Nice.
And then the main one is from Heads Up. It's the quad jersey gold out of 30.
Okay.
Who we got on there?
Yeah, is Elias?
Oh, it's Elias, Berder, Gomez.
Okay,
nice.
That's nice.
Very cool. Those are, and man, old Pacific Game Use cards are so cool. They never get old.
Yeah, they are.
And then a card I don't have the gold version of, Still looking for it, but found the 1 of 1, and so that puts me at 3 out of 8 black Fight Nights for Brodeur in a
Whew.
Oh yeah.
Dang, man.
in a PS.
I've never seen what one of those looks like, so I'm obviously until you send it to group chat, but I'm so happy to see that one of us has one. That's a great
dude.
set.
It's shiny. It's a lot more shinier than I expected. It seemed a bit dull on the scan, but I'm glad it does have a bit of shine of it. But those are my pickups.
You know what I love about
eBay 101 because it's PSA 10.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know what I love about that card is that we all love the card, and we were in like, oh my god, PSA 10, like that's the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we appreciate the card for the card.
Yeah.
And the PSA 10 is just a beautiful bonus, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm thinking about. I thought about cracking it. I still am very tempted. It sounds so
not on a 10. Come on.
Nah, I can't. No.
If you ever like got in like a health emergency, the 10 would make that card so much easier to find another home than if you. I mean, you still sell it, but you're going to get all the hashtag investor types to come clamoring at your card because it has PSA 10 on it.
I know, but it is honestly really. There's two. I have like the other 1 of 1 in the 9.5, like the masterpiece. Like those are the 2 cards I'm really tempted to crack. But it's so dumb. But that's something. Maybe if I just sick and tired of these slabs, I'll crack them. But as of now, they'll stay in there.
I could just like see the group chat as he like posts like PSA 10 case ripped apart. Like no, he'd be making a lot of people upset in the chat for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you got that, dude, and you got to. I was obviously waiting for you over the border. So awesome that you were able to get that. I tell you, monthly Christmas time for Kelvin. He gets to have that experience.
And that was deal was on Instagram. Well, he posted on eBay, but then I tried cross reference to see if he was on Instagram. He was, and we did follow each other, which was perfect.
Sweet, dude. Man, I love when that works out, especially when you can do a private deal, because then the seller is not missing out or getting all these fees, and you're not having to worry about shipping or anything. It's kind of a little bit more streamlined, especially when it's a guy that's well known in the community. Like the guy that I bought my card from. It's like I have nothing to worry about. There's no, there's certain people you send friends and family to, and so that ended up working out. But I mean, I gotta admit, Jeremy Lee is well known in the community, and I, having not known him that well, you kind of go into those knowing that you're going to interact with somebody that's that well known, and you don't know what you're going to expect, because he's not like this. But there's some guys that are pretty big headed, and like a $700 or $800 card means nothing to them, whereas like it means everything to us. It's a big deal. But I know Jeremy was putting a set together that he was close to having done, and I kind of asked about a flurry and like, hey, think he'd ever move it? And the funny thing is, like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, he didn't say no. He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no. And I was like, I'll check in on that in a couple weeks, So it's just been really cool. We started interacting more, so I reached out, and you guys can all agree with me. When you have a top want, like your number 1 overall want, if somebody's asking more than you maybe originally thought you would pay that came up on eBay, if it's within a reasonable amount, you just go for it. When you're going to have a chance at it again, especially when it's out of 10 or less, So anyways, I'll show the card. Jeremy, thanks again, dude. I'm so happy that it's here. It's been sitting in front of me for 2 days now. And it's a beauty. The camera doesn't want to grab it, but I promise it's as gorgeous as you can hope for, especially because of the holofoil, like National Treasures with the acetate. It's sick. It's so sick.
That's an aspect I didn't realize it had. That border, that holofoil looks good too.
I think that completely makes the card.
It has everything. It has a metal, acetate, shiny.
Yes.
I can't get it to work. Yeah. That's okay. But the cool thing is like a lot of time, like Chris, MAF collector, I've shouted him out so many times on here. His is like moving around inside this little window. There's actually a piece of acetate over the whole card. Yep. Because I thought that I'd be able to like touch the cup, which I cannot.
Yeah, no.
So it was really cool. And Kelvin, you have the non-autoed version of your player, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is the same in there. I was really worried because it's quite heavy. I was worried that it would be moving around, but it's very well centered, and to have the autograph not be fading at all, even though it's on acetate. yeah, that's definitely a top 5 card in the collection now. But just to have the deal go through smoothly, it did stay in customs for over a week, which you guys know. I was like, hey, do I check in on this? And you guys all said like 2 weeks, like, and I manifested it moving, because the next day after I messaged all you guys, it was on its way out of customs. So, but anyways, yeah, and just it's awesome to you have a first deal go so smoothly with somebody who's so well known. And I will say there's a Flames collector posting a lot of tag grading cards, and I'm frothing at the mouth to send one in, or at least maybe 2
I'm
or
tempted.
3.
They look really nice.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with like the shiny cards. I was going through my Flurry rookies, and I was like, SP Authentic, Young Guns, yes, like, but then I'm worried about the Young Guns coming back in 8, and I'm just like, well, now I want to break it out, because I know it's real close to a 9, as close as you could ever hope for. But if it came back in 8, then I'd be like, well, crap, I would rather not have it in a case. So tough decision on that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, cool. Well, those are some great cards. I have to say that my favorite out of all of them, I love them all, obviously, but there's something about that 3D Easter egg, man. I almost went and bought a Spencer Knight a couple times. Almost went and bought a Swayman a couple times. I like, I was saying of Alex, hashtag blank back bros, in a very appropriate way.
Love them.
Those cards are awesome. And every time I see the retro get posted of Fleury, I'm like, I wonder if somebody hasn't looked at the back, or doesn't know what they have. I haven't had any luck yet, but those kind of things and those releases are always really fun to see.
Yeah.
When they do the, unannounced stuff. So let's see here. Artifacts has been out now for a little over a week. Everybody, has their own. I think the base design is sweet, so really happy with how that turned out.
I agree.
I still haven't bought that one, the net gear, Kelvin. I haven't bought a jersey, haven't bought an autograph of it. They're just going for too much. But cool to see Marc-Andre in a Vegas jersey one more time. I'm waiting patiently for Metal Universe to be like a checklist to officially come out. I'm hoping this week, because this would put it at about 3 weeks out, right? 3 weeks or so out of. Is it still marked down on websites, Kelvin, at the end of the month?
It's been a while since I checked, but we'll have to take a look after this.
Okay, yeah, I'm kind of curious about that. Well, good luck to the 3 of you. I'm sure you got some auctions ending. I have to plug myself I started a new little Instagram endeavor, and talk about uniformity. All the photos are going to be at that angle and the same. So it
looks good.
But here's one that just came in, and that was, come on, after they won their 3rd championship. My camera's making me mad right now. It's because I have all this crazy stuff behind me. But I'm excited to kind of just meet some basketball collectors and see specifically those, and try to. It's hard to manage that in a baseball and a basketball account, but it's going to be fun. So if you guys throw basketball collections my way, please, I would appreciate that. And hopefully everybody has a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. All right. Well, we will catch you next week. Got a fun thing planned with. It's either going to be like a draft, or we're going to kind of share our thoughts. If we can't get everybody here, we'll share our thoughts on the upcoming season. Opening night is Wednesday, in case anybody forgot. Wild have their first game on Thursday, but I hope we have an exciting season in front of us. So
Fun.
we'll see you guys next weekend. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, everyone.
See you.